What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Reffing with the Sappers. Today we've got an exciting U19 girls game that got a little chippy, ended in a 3-3 tie between Roseville Premier and Valley Surf. Excited to have Chris Zanardelli back with us again for
Yep.
another game review. Tell us all the stuff we need to do better.
Oh, stop it. No. At the end of the day, video review is where it's at. That's how we can improve our craft as officials.
All right, let's get going. For this game, I was your center referee. Katie was the AR on the far side of the field, and we had Eric on the near side who was working with us, did a great job. I also was experimenting with a new system where I'd wear a microphone on my shirt and then record everything I was hearing on the field. You're going to hear that. This is going to be the first review where we have that on the channel. Let us know in the comments if you like that setup, if you like hearing what's directly out there. All right, ladies, we're playing 45 minutes. Good luck. All right, this game gets off to a pretty chill start, actually. It's almost 8 minutes into the game before we have our first real decision point in the match when we're down here in the far end and black is on the attack. So the ball is coming in from the side here, kind of bounces around, and right there, a player comes in and tries to challenge for it. And it looks at first glance, if we watch this here, right there, it looks like this white player has her arm out. And I had a really nice view. I was kind of in a
Hmm.
credible position there, looking between the two of them. And I remember sometimes it happens like this where it's almost like a player's trying to foul, but she's a little bit too far away from her. So she does have her arm out, but I remember I actually saw some gap there and this player
Oh.
sticks her leg out, throwing her leg, trying to get a kick. And so while she falls down dramatically and it could look like a push, I really felt it was because she tried to kick. And while that white player had tried, it hadn't actually been a foul. And so as we watch her body language, she doesn't even turn around and look. She knows it's not a foul. So I think that's a good no call at an important point in the match.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
It's another 6 minutes later before we have our next call on the match. This is a no call here. The ball is coming up. This defender in black here is trying to come get it, and white attacking tries to come up behind her, gives her a bump there. Right here, it's close to shoulder to shoulder. It's a little bit behind. I felt comfortable making it a no call. I know some people on the sideline wanted something here. What's
Yeah,
your
I,
thoughts?
it's the players seem to expect what happened. The contact is expected at this kind of level. At U12 girls, we've likely got a foul. At U19, yeah, they can play through this.
Yeah. Not more than 5 seconds after that last no call, we've got the ball is flying in the air. It's coming back here. We're going to look at this black and white player here on the left hand side. They're coming in to challenge for the ball. And so, right there, there's maybe a little bit of a push by the black player right there with her arm extension to get this white player off. Not much more than the other one here. So, kind of a proof that we're letting it
Mhm.
go
Yeah,
both
right.
ways, right?
Well, yeah,
Let them play.
there is a balancing act that referees have, the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The letter of the law says if somebody unfairly challenges, pushes, kicks, whatever, then you call the foul. However, the spirit of the law says if somebody doesn't gain an advantage from that and it's not something egregious, let it go.
About a minute later, we've got an offside call. Unfortunately, the actual line is off screen to the left here, so we can't see it. But this white player with possession here, she's going to send the ball long. Right there's the moment of decision. But if we advance forward, we'll end up seeing there's our line, and here's the player on the left that's going to go and get this ball.
Stone cold lock for an offside decision.
Moving on to the 17th minute of the match, we have a controversial call where there was a goal taken away for a handball. So let's watch here. It's on the far side of the field. The ball's kind of bouncing around, and then a player here is going to kick it up, and then it's going to go to this black player here who's going to actually get a pretty nice shot into the goal. So if we just play this, there the ball comes up, bounces, she gets it at her foot, and she kicks it. And then I'll just go to full screen. We can see that the ball goes over the keeper into the goal. Actually, a really nice goal. But going back to our zoomed in view, here's the ball bouncing down. coming down, it bounces off the ground, then it comes up, and she's like trying to get her arm up out of the way, but right there it hits her right here. Now, she was actively trying to get her arm out of the way, so my thought process here is I'm trying to decide, did she actually get her arm out of the way? And
Right.
it's super close, right?
Super close.
I'm processing. I see the goal. As I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I do think it touched her arm. And I think it touched her arm, dropped right back at her foot,
Yep.
set her up for the kick.
Yep.
Like, you can't let a goal be scored like that. So
Nope.
let's listen to the audio. This will be a good one with her new audio set up.
Handball over here.
You slapped the ball.
I don't love calling
No.
that. I don't love calling that one back.
It's one of those gamut calls. Damn it, I gotta call this.
So handball over here.
Yep.
So I know they're upset. I know this is going to be controversial. I want to make sure I'm transparent with what happened.
Mhm.
So I run over
Oh, yeah.
and explain the call.
Coach, she reached her arm out and knocked it down at her foot before the shot. The player who scored.
Like, okay, I didn't commit the number to memory. I always think it's funny. I think like coaches and whatnot try to like crap you into like if you can't tell me the number, you must not have seen it.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you saw the front part of this player. You didn't see the back. You call the handball. Come over here and turn around so I can see your number, so I can tell you. Are you kidding me?
And I was watching the shot to see what happened next, right? So I
Yep,
even alluded to
absolutely.
who it
Mm-mm.
is. So yeah.
And you've done a few critically important things here. You took your time in making the call. You made your call. You hadn't restarted play, so you could change your call. And then it was an unpopular decision, and you at least gave the coaches the feeling like they were heard by coming and explaining it.
Right.
That's several critical things that assist in game management.
Mm.
And as we said, I believe the last time I was here, a slow right call is better than the fast wrong call every day of the week.
A little bit later in the match, we've got Black on the attack here. We're going to look at this Black player here who's going to come in and be challenged by a couple of defenders here. And right there, Black goes down. She was pushed. I blow my whistle right away. And if we look at this here, this white defender, she's actually got, it's hard to see from this angle because we're looking right on her,
Right
but
into
she's
it.
got her arm straight out in order almost like to clothesline her, right? And so then Black gets impeded by that or pushed by that. You can see her start to come off. After I end up calling that push and giving them a direct free kick from what is that, like 5 yards outside of the top of the penalty area, that ended up being an important match because Black scored basically directly off of that kick. I think the kick came over, hit the crossbar, and then one of their other attackers just booted it right in. So that ended up being a big point and tied the game up for the Black team.
Mm-hmm.
Couple minutes go by, and then we've got another decision. This is the one I think I probably missed first in this match.
Mm-hmm.
So White's kind of trying to get this ball that's up for grabs, comes in here, and when Black comes in to challenge for it, she does kick the ball, gets the ball just a little bit that sends it back between her legs, but in the process, she brings her cleats down on the top of the foot. She wasn't trying to do it.
No,
I don't think it's reckless in a
no.
yellow card. You can see that this player is, injured, and she stays down for a little bit after this. I feel like I should have read that body language and said, okay, I missed something there. If we go back to the moment that this decision happened, you can see I'm standing here. I've got one player a little bit in my way. I guess I must not have seen
Mm-hmm.
that the cleats came down there.
Or you and your assistant referee, Scott, as an assistant referee, you can help out your centers by understanding that maybe your center did have the player in the way, couldn't see it clearly, and go ahead and pop that flag and give it the wiggle, asking for the foul, and leave it to the center referee to go ahead and wave you down.
Next up, we're going to have a pretty textbook impeding infraction here. Again, I think I said in an earlier video that we don't call impeding that much, but apparently I'm a liar because I don't know if I put something in the water, but it's
Right?
happened quite a bit here. So let's watch this here. Number 34 is basically trying to stop this 24 attacker from getting the ball. So right there, she comes up, she's got her arms out, and then she steps back. I'm maybe There, she's got her arms out. She's close to the ball, and had she just kind of kept going close to this
Yeah,
ball, it'd have been fine, right?
absolutely.
But the problem is, she
Stops
stops
right here.
and she moves over and stops her, right? And so it was that blocked it, right?
Hmm.
So pretty textbook.
Yeah, and that's textbook.
Yeah. So let's listen. Now that we've got the audio directly on me, let's listen to how I explain this to her.
You can't impede her. You gave up and you came back. You can't impede her. You got to stay within playing distance of the ball. Okay. It's an indirect kick right here. The problem is you stopped and you came back. Had you kept going, you'd have been fine.
Absolutely. And what you did perfectly was the player made a counter argument to your argument, and you summarily dismissed it by continuing with what you were going to say. And I got this advice from one of my referee mentors: a rolling ball prevents a running mouth. And so, yeah, just get the restart and get going. We're not talking about it anymore.
Immediately off of the indirect free kick following that impeding call, the black player over here who ends up like turf monster gets her and she falls down, kicks the ball up so that her teammate here can take a shot. Her teammate kind of handles the ball there and then kicks it. Keeper saves it, and then the attacker goes in, kicks it right back into the back of the net. Now my assistant referee immediately pops the flag. You end up seeing me. I'm signaling for it's offside. Immediately putting my hand up. If we back this up, I think what really happened here is that if we look at the moment this player initially touches the ball, everybody looks like they're probably onside, right?
Incredibly onside, yeah.
But she doesn't immediately like one touch it
Nope.
in. She pops it and then she tries to kick it. And in that time frame, the attackers kind of go back a little bit and she's offside. So want to draw a little bit of attention down to the lower right-hand corner for the coaches on this one. We've hidden us on camera here so that we can actually see it
Yep.
because otherwise we cover it up. But I barely even blown the whistle. I might not
Right.
even have blown the whistle.
Nope.
And they're already like making big shows. So
Offside, offside. It's offside.
So, yeah, they see my assistant referee pop his flag.
In utter disbelief. Offside never happens in the goal area. Never.
And I'm sure they've got a really great view of it from way down here, 50
Yeah,
yards
it's a
away.
super great angle even.
Right? So I know they're upset. I know that this team actually has a history of their coaches having some dissent problems. So I'm trying to over communicate. I knew going into that match that was something I might have to deal with. In fact, I think the head coach of this team was even serving a red card suspension for dissent. So
That's not good.
I was trying to manage that in the match. So that's why I'm maybe even going above and beyond communication. So as they continue to kind of say, how can that be offside?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to end up running over and talking to Eric.
So when she kicked it from here, she was
They're
offside.
both of them. All
Not when the keeper saved it, but back here.
Yeah.
He's really clear on his call. You know, he's explaining, yep, it was when she was kicked. You know, sometimes when you haven't worked with an AR a lot, you don't know, do they know that the keeper save isn't a reset on the offside? So I just want to make sure that's totally clear for him. And that, you know, if I walked over and he said, yeah, the keeper played it, well, then I'd be like, oh, well, then that's
boy.
the reason we need to maybe think about changing the call
Yep.
here. So, but he's very clear. He knew it was when the person played. So now I'm going to go and explain to the coaches.
Yeah, at the time of the kick, she was off. At the time of the kick, she was off. Not the keeper save. Not the keeper save, the time of the shot. Okay.
So get one of those rare thank yous for the
Yes, you get it. Thank you for the explanation.
Good job by Eric knowing the rules and applying them correctly. Just a few seconds later, actually, they've kicked the ball along here, and we've got a moment here where the white team wanted an impeding call, and we're going to talk about why this one isn't impeding. So I made this a no call on the pitch. The ball is coming down. Black is on defense. White's trying to get it, and right there, Black does actively move to her left, but what I judge there is that she kind of runs to her left, but she keeps moving forward, and she's entitled to her space,
Well,
right?
absolutely. And the critical thing about impeding is within playing distance, and that ball was
Right
3 feet away from her when she decided she was going to go left. Maybe she's going to go peel off. There's no assistance she's going to be able to provide to the goalkeeper, and so she's going to peel off and take the outlet pass or whatever.
And in the earlier call, the girl actively
Mhm.
stopped and
Back
came
Yeah.
backwards. Whereas this one, she's peeling off, but she's still moving
Yeah.
forward. And so you can actually hear me explain it to this white attacker. Because she actually asked for why wasn't that impeding. You'll see it in her body language.
She was going forward versus your player came back.
Now, I don't think she agreed with that
No.
explanation, but it was the explanation. And
Players
that's why I called
rarely
it.
do.
In the 30th minute here, we've got an offside call that's really very straightforward here. The white team's got the ball on the right-hand side of the screen. She's going to kick it up, and this attacker back here behind the midline is going to one-time it up. So right there, the ball comes back. Right there's a moment of decision, and this attacker down here clearly at least a yard or two offside.
Mhm.
Don't get a lot more straightforward than that for Eric to call. Almost 10 minutes go by before our next decision point. In the interim, White has rattled off another goal, so White is now winning 2-1. Ball's down here in White's attacking third, kind of bouncing around, and right here, Black kicks it up, and it goes straight to this player. She's got her arm out, obviously making her body unnaturally bigger. Ball drops straight down. Really easy handball.
Several newer referees like to play advantage. Don't play advantage in the defensive third. Give the free kick. Give the free kick. They're 65, 70 yards from goal. It's not an advantage to just simply have the ball in your defensive third.
Hmm. We're getting near the end of the first half, and we've got Black on the attack here, and she gets pushed in the back here. So she's coming up, and right there, this defender just comes up and shoves her in the back. And this is one of those, the players tell you what happened, even if I hadn't seen it. Her arms are up, asking for the foul immediately. That last call ended up being another important one because directly off of this free kick, which I'll point out is 25 yards from the top of the penalty box, they end up scoring what is an absolute amazing goal. And I don't normally show goals, but this one is so impressive. Like,
Oh, this one's golden.
I got to show it. So, U19 girls, 40 yards out here. And when she runs up and she kicks this ball, it goes right into the back of the net over the keeper. Like, very, very impressive.
Oh, and for those of you youth players who might be watching this, watch her run up. It's 2 steps. You don't have to run 300 yards to get to the ball. You don't have to run 15 yards, 5 yards, 2 steps. And she puts it 47 yards right over the keeper's head, right where she was aiming.
So it was an exciting first half. Ended up tied 2-2. Let's see what the second half brings.
All right, ladies, 45 minutes. Good luck.
Our first decision of the second half happens about 5 minutes into the half. Now, in the interim, Black had scored another goal off of a corner kick where it just kind of pinballed around and went in. So now Black is winning 3-2 after having been down 2-1 with just a couple of minutes left in the first half. So a quick turn of events for them. But we've got a throw in here where White's taking it. It's coming up here, and then this white player comes in from behind, and then right here she jumps up, jumps into the back, climbs with two hands on the back, goes up over. So really easy jumping into call, and they don't get a lot more straightforward than that. About a minute later, we've got an offside call where Black is on the attack. Ball's going to come over to this player here. She manages it, and then she kicks it right there on the moment of decision. Number 11 here is clearly offside. Katie's right on the line to see that, so it's a really straightforward call for her. Less than a minute later, we've got another offside call that I wish Katie was here for because
Me too.
Katie has a rare miss,
Absolutely.
and occasionally she needs to be,
Yeah.
take a little humble pie right here.
Take a notch off, yeah.
Let's watch it here. So right there, Black's on the attack. She comes back, and then right there is the moment of decision. This player here is on a sprint, and you can see Katie's trying to stay in line, but you can also see that these two players keep her clearly onside. Definitely opportunity there that I will point out to Katie when she gets home from school today.
This is a great opportunity for me to tell my story about just absolutely bungling an offside decision.
Okay.
It was my first adult match ever, and these guys line up for a goal kick, and this guy sends it 60 yards in the air. The opponent had no idea it was coming. The team who had the goal kick had an attacker positioned right about the landing zone, and I go, "Oh, you're offside." Raise the flag. Referee blows the whistle. I go, "Son of a gun, that's on a goal kick."
Oh,
So yeah, I called offside on a goal kick. Happens. Hasn't happened since.
that's like one of your. That's like one of the bingo.
It
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure was a bingo
Referee
square.
bingo square right there.
Yes, 100%.
So a couple minutes after that last missed offside, what happens here isn't actually enough that I would normally even call it a foul.
No.
Only want to point it out because the coach clearly is upset by it, and it kind of adds to this. These coaches have been really animated the whole match. Right here, ball's about to go out of bounds. Really, not much happens. Black kicks it out. This white player, she's trying to gain her balance. I don't, you know, from this angle, perfect angle of the camera, you don't see any push. I would not have had that good of an angle. I would have been looking through their back, so I certainly didn't see anything. But
Mhm.
White never even like stumbles forward or anything.
Mm-mm.
But for some reason, this coach starts, he's like jawing a little bit for where's the push, where's the push, and I remember I registered that because they've been very animated with all their arms.
Demonstrative.
And
Yes.
per the laws of the game, you can't have dissent by action. So too much of this, you don't really want to call that too often, but it just, it kind of builds up as the
Yep.
match goes on. Just a few seconds later, we've got another call. Ball's coming in from deep, and it's going to go straight to this white and black player who are competing for it. And right here, as white goes back, black just basically clears her leg out right there, gets her. She goes down right in front of me. Really easy call.
Hmm.
So. Up next, we've got a corner kick here that white is taking, and it ends up being a goal where the black team wanted an offside call.
Hmm.
And in fact, it even looked offside to me. So we've got some interesting
Yeah,
audio
it's
with
good
me
audio.
checking with my assistant referee. So let's watch here. The ball crosses in, kind of bounces around. She kicks it, keeper saves it, and then white kicks it in. Right now, they're cheering. They're cheering. In all honesty, they're on the field. I actually thought it was offside.
Assistant referee determining it's a good goal, and Scott thinking it's offside. We've got a difference of opinion. We need to talk about it. Eric has got the more credible positioning. So let's hear the audio and then look at it again.
Yep.
Just to be clear, she looked offside to me. Are you 100%
No, there was
sure she was
a girl on her
on the post?
Yeah,
on the post. Okay, all right.
So there, I'm looking like if I go over and he says I didn't really see it, I'm gonna probably go with
Then
my
taking it
eye,
off,
right?
taking it back.
But he's 100%.
That's
He's
great.
like, oh no, there was definitely somebody. So
Yeah.
let's actually go back. Let's
Let's
watch.
look at this.
So going back and looking at this right there, the ball is bouncing around, and right there she gets the kick. So that is the moment of decision. So let's
Yep.
look at where everybody is. Like we've got our keeper here, but there is this player back here on the goal.
On the goal line.
Right? There she saves it, and right there she kicks it in. Even there at that kick,
Yeah.
there's still two players because this player is still back here. Now I didn't see that; I just saw
Yeah.
her, and I'm thinking, oh, she looks offside. And so this actually ends up contributing. We don't get it much on the audio, but we know this black team's coaches. They've been getting more animated as the game goes on. They've had a goal taken away now in this match for an offside that they thought was good. Now we're gonna award a correct goal to the white team that ties up the match 3-3. But of course they're off the line. They don't see that. But
If you'd be willing, run it back to the point at which the white player volleyed it,
okay.
because this camera is approximately at their same angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So see those players? They're covering each other up from where the coaches would be.
That's a good
This
point.
camera's up.
Yeah. That's a great point. They may be looking through here. They may not even see her.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Only about a minute later, we've got the ball coming down here, and we've got a moment where the coach for this black team wants a handball called,
Mhm.
and then they jabber a lot when I tell them just to play on, and so I end up actually coming back and giving them a verbal warning.
Mhm.
So let's watch it here. Right here, the ball's coming in. These two players go and compete for it. If I just back this up and play it in slow motion, right here, that's shoulder to shoulder. There's
Yep.
nothing nefarious there. Okay, maybe that hits her arm, but to me, that's totally a natural position.
Oh,
Like
come
that's
on, yeah.
not. There's nothing there. No
She
advantage
just
gained.
had her balance disturbed. You're gonna flail your arms about.
It's being well within my rights as the referee to say, hey, that's a natural position for me.
Mhm.
I'm going to play on. So we'll actually hear me tell them to play on, and then we'll start to get some noise from the coach.
Play the ball. Play.
Go, go.
So there you hear me tell them play on, and then that coach just jabbers for like
Yep.
5, 6, 7 seconds there, just on, and he's starting to bring up the other calls and body ball. So at this point, I actually make the decision that I'm going to give him a verbal warning.
Good.
So I let it play out. It maybe goes for 10, 15 seconds there until the keeper's going to pick up this ball.
Mhm.
And so keeper's going to pick it up. I know now, I'm going to have 2 or 3 seconds where I don't have to have 100% of my focus in the playing area. So now is my chance to talk to the coach.
Coach, this is your first descent warning. Next one's a yellow.
So I'm just
That's it.
laying it.
Matter of fact. Statement of fact.
I'm not going to debate with him there. Like, was that a handball? If I open that up to other stuff, it's going to be talking about, oh, well, maybe it's this. No,
Yeah.
no.
You don't
Just
need a conversation.
short time later, we've got a fair kind of 50-50 challenge here that we thought was all ball, but it looks pretty dramatic. So this white player here and number 24 black are going to come in to challenge for this ball, really get to it at exactly the same time right there. They both get the ball at first. Black actually gets the last touch on it because she kicks it back between White's legs, and then they clank chins together. Now looks like 24 maybe gets the shorter end of the stick
For
there.
sure.
These are the kinds of things that sometimes, sidelines will start to, where's but, who would I call? Even if I wanted to call it, who would you call it on? They both got it at the same time.
You call it just like the coaches want it. Call it both ways. We'll freak it both directions.
2 minutes later, we've got a play where some of the players on the field wanted a handball, but I end up determining that it wasn't. If we go right here, black kicks it up. It ends up hitting this white player, and you can kind of see it hits her body right there, and then off of her body, then rolls down her arm, which was back, which I judge to be a natural position. It's just, plus it's off of a fair playing surface and out. So me, that was natural position. I'm not going to call that as a handball. I end up yelling there, hey, no handball, no handball, play on, off of her body,
Yep.
and just keep playing.
And what do you want her to do? Remove her arm?
Right. A short time later, after that no call for the handball, in fact, I think it was just seconds later,
Yep.
we've got white on an attack here. It's on the far side of the field. It's a little bit grainy right now, but this white player here is going after the ball. And right as she's running through, this black player just trips her from behind. So very much a tactical foul. So at this point, I'm trying to apply the considerations for, is it stopping a promising attack or is it dog so? And so she's definitely got possession of the ball. She's definitely going towards the goal. She's definitely close to the goal because she's near the penalty area. But position of defenders, we've got 34 here who's clearly in a position to start making a play.
Gonna challenge.
Yeah. So we take that down from a dog so to a stopping a promising attack, give her a yellow card, and she 100% knows. I mean, when she commits that foul, she knows she's going to be carded. So I come in, I give her the card. About 4 minutes go by, and we've got our next decision, which is an offside. Unfortunately, the player is off the screen here, but we've got White here in the middle of the field. She kind of handles it there, pretends like she's going to kick it, and then comes back and kicks it there. And we can see our second to last defender is standing here a couple of yards to the top of the arc. And then this player is just a little bit beyond her. We couldn't see it right at that moment, but Eric's in a great position. You can see he's clearly got his flag up to signal, and that's the right call.
Yep.
A couple minutes later, we've got another offside call, so a couple back to back, this one going the opposite way. Right here, black kind of handles it, and then right about there, she kicks it, so that's the moment of decision. If I zoom in here, we can kind of see that this black player and this white player is, they're she's trying to stay on this line, but she's leaning forward. And Katie, if we back up here, Katie's in a good, credible position to make this judgment call. Right there, it goes through. She plays it. Katie calls it, and pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting into the final 10 minutes of this match. There's a handful of decisions left. We've got a no call here near the spectator sideline for the black team. Right here, these players are going to challenge for the ball, and then there's some chippiness after it goes out of bounds. If we watch this here, and with the benefit of slow motion, we actually kind of see this black player, like, she is shoving this player to the side and even maybe grabbing her shorts a little bit here. So kind of white may actually have the biggest beef here. But they kind of get their arms tangled up, and there's some frustration there. I end up, I think, blowing my whistle and telling them to just chill out.
Lady, that's enough. That's enough. I see both of you. I see both of you.
That's it. Talk them off the ledge.
A couple minutes later, we've got an offside call that ended up being controversial. Black is on the attack. Let's watch here. 11 kicks it over. Right about here, her teammate one times it to her, and 11 started making her run. Now, the second to last defender is the one over here, and Katie is down here in a very credible position
Super
to make
credible.
this call.
Absolutely.
Now, it can be very deceiving here because of the camera angles. One, we're not on the line that Katie's got, and two, just because of the view, black is much closer to us than white.
Absolutely.
Now, we're trying here to look with a magnifying glass and look at the mow lines on the grass and try to make a decision. But in all honesty, if we're looking that close,
If we're looking that close in real time,
and Katie's in that credible position, and Katie's got a strong track record of making good calls, we got to go with her call here. So now the yellow line that you see as add, I end up adding that after we've reviewed it. So right now we're reviewing it. We don't have the yellow line. We'll see what that says when we actually add it here. So who knows what it might show. But we're going to call this a correct call and give Katie the benefit of the doubt here.
Sure we are.
It's right there. And she's got a history of making really tight calls.
Really tight calls
very well.
accurately. Absolutely.
So let's listen to the audio here because we get quite a bit of noise on this one. Katie calls it. I think I had accidentally turned down the gain on the receiver at this point, so it sounds quieter than it actually was. There was quite a bit of noise here. And then I end up coming back and making a comment to the coaches.
There's no way you see it from there. She's on the line. Coach, you're already on a warning. Let's not push it.
The coaches are to the right of the midline here. So, we're looking here. We've got the camera right on the midline. And we're not sure.
Right, exactly.
And we've got slow motion.
So, yeah.
So, for them to try and say that they saw it from 15 yards that direction, there's zero credibility that they've got. A couple minutes later, we've got white on the attack down here, and as she comes around trying to get the ball, black clips her on the ankle. You see her go down. Yeah, very clear. Black even kicks it away. They're arguing a little bit. I don't know why she's arguing. I mean,
cut and dry.
It's obvious from here. I think I even told her, like, dude, like, it's very clear. I heard you get her ankle from all the way over here. Directly off of the direct free kick from that last call, the ball comes in here and it's flying in. The keeper's actually going to save it here, catch it, dribble it down, but right there, white runs into her. So, she gets it in her breadbasket. I think she dribbles it on the ground, but white bumps her. Now, she didn't truck through her, but she bumps her. So I end up coming in here and I talk to him and say, hey, you got to pull up when she's clearly going to get it in her hands. Now, unfortunately, my audio kind of got turned down a little bit here in what's recorded, so it's super light. I'll try to turn it up when I do the editing, but we'll listen here.
Guys, you got to pull up when it's clearly going in her hands. You got to pull up.
But then something weird happens, like this white player here and this black player over here, completely unrelated to the play.
Yeah, right. They
start jawing at each other. I wish my audio had been turned up so I could hear exactly what they said.
I saw. Okay, we got ladies. We got to calm down.
Shut up, because you're wrong. Because you're wrong.
Okay.
So they're clearly they're jawing at each other, and of course each one of them thinks the other one started it, right?
Of course.
From my perspective, it was just both of them being
Yeah.
like hotheads, right? So I blew my whistle. I just decided, okay, I'm done with this.
I'm done with it.
I
And
tried to talk to you.
for sure. And that's the nice thing about the yellow card. The first one is free. You've got one more option, and then you can just go home because you can't modify your behavior properly.
Game pays the same for me whether you're on the field or not.
Oh, I like that a lot.
So I end up actually giving both of them cards here. So I give her the first yellow, and then I give that player there also a yellow.
Mhm.
And like, okay, you're
Yep,
done.
done.
You're
Done.
done.
Yep.
All right.
Here's the caution.
In our final call of this match, we've got a charge in the 89th minute. So the ball is kind of bouncing around here. It's going to come back to this white player who's going to kick it, and this black player is going to challenge her for it. So right there, she kicks it up, and then there's a charge into it. So what I judged there was she got this ball. This black player didn't necessarily have to jump directly at her. And I kind of felt like she was looking for the contact there. Now, whether or not she did it intentionally or otherwise,
Yeah,
that
well,
doesn't factor
right.
into the decisions. But
Well, I agree with your assessment. It looked like she was looking for a contact there.
and the game had gotten chippy, right? It
Yeah,
had been
that's true.
getting chippy. So I'm just trying to I'm calling it tighter,
Yeah.
trying to manage that, and yeah. And so with that last call, it was the last one of the match. Just a few seconds later, here we end up blowing it dead in the 90th minute. It was interesting with this U19 girl as it got, progressively more heated as the game went on. We saw that very early in the match, like large chunks of minutes went by
Yeah.
without any decisions. And then obviously they got a lot more chippy towards the end. But I think it was an interesting game with the audio and
Oh, yeah,
a unique perspective there. Still working on a couple bugs
for
that we
sure.
lost it at the end, but hopefully we'll get that nailed down as we progress. Let's check out how we did though. So with 33 decisions and 2 deductions, that gives us a Sapper score of 93.9%. So this is right on the verge of a great game.
Absolutely.
It's a good game.
Yeah,
Right
for
on the
sure.
verge of a great game.
Yep.
Felt good while we were out on the pitch. Yep. So Chris, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Scott. Thank you for having me. I really enjoy these videos as a viewer and as a participant. And thank you for that. It really is going to help soccer referees as a whole. It may not be here locally. It could be in Minnesota, Texas, Ohio, whatever. It will help youth referees because largely we don't see these kind of opportunities to dissect film at speeds that we will see as youth referees on the pitch.
And I appreciate that after each one that you watch, you send me texts with, "Oh, did you think about this? Did you think about that?" Because I have learned so much doing these videos and
Absolutely.
from that feedback. So
Yep.
that's fantastic.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
join us back here next Friday for our next upload. I'm Scott,
I'm Chris.
and we'll see you out on the pitch.
Yep.
Like she didn't even look back.
I like your helicopter.
No.
I saw it and I'm doing nothing. Why are you laughing?
I just I'm laughing at myself.
All right.
All right, I'm a funny guy. The yellow line I've been adding
Mhm.
to though, and the arrows I've been doing that in post production.
It's amazing.
You like it?
I like the yellow lines. That intonation right there makes it even better. That's epic. Saw a statistic. It was why bother arguing about a throw in? Because about 70% of the time, within 2 touches, it goes to the opponent. Like the 3 or 4 times in which somebody's been bitching about a throw in, I will say to the team who I stole it from, I will say to them, 2 touches, the ball is coming back to you. And then, sure as shooting, boom, boom, right back, and they look at me like,
That's
see if you can. Let's see what happens with this ball.
What?
What?
straight.
Well, that's weird.
straight
And now
down.
back to white. Yep. Goal removed. That's a
Yes,
popular
yes.
decision in a tie game.
Well, and I didn't handle it the greatest.
Oh,
I
even
also-
better. Classic impeding. Oh my gosh.
And she backs up.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like how I think it was last year I was reffing for you, and I had gone like almost a year with no red cards,
Oh yeah.
and then suddenly I had like who a weekend for like 4 straight weekends.
Yep.
And I was like, what the hell's going on? Am I doing something different? Like,
Right.
is it me? Is it
Yes.
what's happening?
Exactly. Oh, you got it. Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah.
That's rare, bro.
And it was the one where people threw a water bottle over your shoulder.
Oh,
I was in
yes.
the stands for that one.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't throw the water bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. And then, of course, there's no bias there where they
Not at all.
where they'd see what they wanted.
No, not at all.
That
Of
would
course, they
never
would be
happen. That would never
absolutely
happen.
impartial.